Hey, Vibrant Life family, I am jumping in this Friday to talk to you about a very important muscle. And this may be the most important muscle to get to function properly. In fact, I've been to seminars where they've said that if this muscle is not moving properly, then no other movement pattern can be normal. So, what is this muscle? If you haven't guessed it by now, I am talking about the diaphragm. So the diaphragm, not only is it responsible for respiration, but it is also a major spinal stabilizer. And I want to show you the diaphragm exists right underneath our ribs. And so the reason why the diaphragm is so important is because it is responsible for creating good core engagement. And if our diaphragm isn't moving down on that inhale and then lifting up on that exhale, we have the potential of a compensation pattern in our breathing, in our core engagement, and in our spinal stabilization. And so all movements come from the development and movement of our core. So that is the piece that we want to get right in the beginning. And then on top of that is when we can add higher level movements like running or jumping or twisting. But if we are not breathing properly and we are not engaging our core properly, none of those movement patterns can exist without compensation. So, one thing that I would love you to do is assess how you breathe and take a breath in right now. And I want you to notice, did your chest elevate? Or were you able to get breath into your stomach? Or were you able to get breath into not only your stomach, but your sides and in your low back, where you were getting 360-degree expansion from your diaphragm down to your pubic bone? That is actually the movement pattern that we want when we breathe. We don't want the diaphragm to get this like sucked up sensation when we breathe in. We don't want our chest and our shoulders to elevate. We don't want our belly to get sucked in. We also, though, don't just want our belly being the only one expanding, this belly breathing. What we really want is that diaphragm when we breathe in to move down, our ribs and our lower ribs specifically to expand, and our pelvic floor to relax. We want to get breath into 360 degrees of our abdominal thoracic space. And so if this isn't happening for you, what you can do is start to retrain your breathing. And I think the first step, though, is the diaphragm is a muscle. It can get trigger points or adhesions in it like other muscles. So doing myofascial release for your diaphragm is going to be super important. For those of you who are in the course, Feel Better, Live More, Module 2 is going to show you exactly how to do it. It's also going to help you to get into the stacked position so that you can make sure the diaphragm is going to be moving in a more normal plane. And then once you have that down, in Module 3, we're going to be talking about diaphragmatic breathing and how to ultimately retrain that breathing pattern. So these are the 3 steps. Myofascial release for your diaphragm, getting in a better standing posture so that you have a good track for diaphragm movement, and then actually retraining the movement of the diaphragm. This better movement of the diaphragm is going to give you better core engagement, better stabilization of your spine, better access to oxygen, And it's also going to be able to help you do higher level movement patterns without compensation and with less risk of injury. And I know that this is what we are all about. I hope this was helpful. If you have questions about this course, please don't hesitate to ask me or Dr. Jake or Danielle. We can share. It's an amazing step-by-step 4-month course to take you through all of these critical elements in supporting not only your structure, but ultimately your nervous system so that you can heal and function better. So hit us up if you have any questions. Alrighty guys, I will see you next week, and I hope that you have a great week. Until then.